Good morning once again, and welcome to Southern Ohio at the World Ultimate Club Championships. It is day 2, round 2, and one of these two teams is going to get their first victory of the World Championships. It's Hong Kong Neon versus Argentina's first ever team participating in a World Championship event, and it is a privilege to be here on behalf of the World Flying Disc Federation. Evan Lepler alongside Hannah Pendlebury. And Hannah, teams come to the World Championships with all different types of perspectives. Some are trying to play against the best in the world for the first time. Some are trying to win it all. These two teams are both trying to grow and experience this process. And this game right here is one they both had circled as one that each could get, and it could be the highlight of the tournament.
Well, and that is exactly why we are covering this match, Evan. As you say, Argentina with their first appearance and the only team representing their country at this World Championship level, and it is an absolute delight to have them with us. They'll be facing up against Hong Kong Neon. A little bit more experience on that team at the national stage, but a half and half split, they were telling us earlier, between local players who do live still in the Hong Kong region, but all of them are connected with the other half of their team coming from players who formerly did play with the team and in that scene, who are, and some other halves as well, and connections there, which is always lovely to see on teams at this level.
Both these teams had a shaky start yesterday, and they acknowledged that, but each was very pleased by their growth throughout the Monday. Both teams enter this matchup at 0-2. Yesterday, the Argentina squad lost by 5 to the Philippines team, Mulato Filipinas 15-10, and then a Universe Point thriller. They played Japan's Shinsu Lose to 12-11 before succumbing. Hong Kong 15-4 and 15-7 to New Zealand, Marvelous, and Canada's Anchor. But Hong Kong said the score in that second game against Anchor didn't reflect how well they thought they played.
Yeah, certainly. Hong Kong Neon, having not actually played together as a team previously to this tournament, it was to say a half and half mix of local and old friends. So they had a real struggle yesterday in their first game. And it was really good to see them actually gel a lot better against Anchor. They were saying that Anchor were looking very frustrated indeed when they were in that first half of the game. So it'll be interesting to see who can come out. We're going to have Argentina starting on the defense. We'll have a pull from them, and Hong Kong Neon will look to come out and show us what they can do on offense. They have 3 sets of lines. We have the Central, Kowloon, and New Territory lines. One of them will be favoring a horizontal and side stack approach, whereas we'll see horizontal and vert from the other 2 lines. Did you get much of a chance to speak to Argentina about what we can expect from them on offense, Evan?
Well, I think they are just trying to be consistent, and they're learning how to play together. We've documented how players from countries all over the world had trouble getting visas, so there's been some players added recently, and I think both these teams are kind of in that same mold of figuring things out on the fly. Argentina in the light blue. And here we go. Fabian Galvan launches the pull, and Hong Kong in the black with Jeannie Kwan centering to Kim Alexanderson. Underneath the opening cut, Jackie Mann. Hong Kong's an amazing place where people, expats, come from all over the world. They come, they go, but once they have come, they never really leave. So pretty much every one of these players who doesn't live in Hong Kong now did live in Hong Kong at one point.
And it is lovely, Evan, to see them coming back together now as they generate some lovely offense up here.
This is Grant Frankie. He and his wife, Kristen, lived in Hong Kong for a while, and that was an unfortunate little hop out of bounds there because the Neon team will be denied the score. Just a lack of awareness of where he was on the field.
And that is a early error from Hong Kong Neon. Just complete lack of focus and concentration. No real kind of, like you say, awareness of where he was on the pitch. Looked really casual as he towed that directly out of bounds.
Monty Lai, 28-year-old, originally from Toronto, now living in Hong Kong with the error. Jeff Hartline's going to be an important disc distributor for Argentina.
Very deep stack from Argentina, making it very difficult to generate much flow right now.
That's something to watch for, Hannah, in games with these pickup teams is the spacing. Deep shot goes up, and it is not coming back in bounds. Hong Kong realizing they're going to have excellent field position easily across the midfield line.
And that is not a particularly smart choice of throw. It's always talking about the same third hucks, very difficult to execute from the sideline. And that one will not have gained much yardage for the defense. They're going to have to play with a relatively short field. Huck went pretty much straight out of bounds. And so Hong Kong, their second opportunity now to hold serve in this opening point.
Alexanderson, he's lived all over the world. Actually made the Thailand national baseball team at one point, although he never played a game for them. Shot to the end zone's gonna work.
But there is a pick call on the field, might bring that one back.
Jackie Mann doesn't realize it. She's already congratulated her teammate, but now she's realizing the news.
But that's going to be retracted. The goal will stand.
So they take away the pick call, and Hong Kong is on the board first with an offensive hold. This game is just going to be fascinating to watch from the perspective of each of these teams is going into it with a different mentality than yesterday. A dramatic change from just trying to figure it out to, hey, we can actually win this game.
Indeed, nice to see confidence there from Hong Kong Neon. Their initial opening offense looked very slick. A lot of far sideline play, not much swinging of the disc, but they certainly look very confident. Perhaps a little bit too overconfident with that out-of-bounds play on this potential score first off the bat. But Argentina not having found their footing quite so quickly, looking very hesitant to say, like lots of players far, far away from their handlers, making the job very difficult indeed.
You see with the red cape, the Hong Kong flag, Max Manier. There was not anybody in the United States more excited when France celebrated the World Cup victory than Max Manier. He did a full sprint around the beer garden social tent, and he drew an applause with his enthusiasm. It was a heartwarming and inspiring thing as Ted Barnett launches the pull. Argentina on offense. Melinda Lee to Kyle Romard. Romard certainly one of the key cutters on this team, just 22. But that's over the head of the intended target, Leonela Bernardi.
Yeah, that's a shame to see that miscue there. They were starting to look some very slick offense indeed with that horizontal stack.
On the 9 o'clock round, I mean, there's 29 fields around this complex, so it's so hard to digest everything that has happened. But as the scores start to come in, the mixed division at 9 a.m. saw some thrillers. A couple games going down to the wire, a couple upsets mixed in.
Well, talking about games going down to the wire, I know Argentina were disappointed with the Universe loss yesterday. Hopefully this one will be nice and hotly contested too, Evan, giving us plenty to talk about on the live stream.
Well, we put in a request for everyone at home. We asked both teams to give us a Universe Point thriller. So we'll see if they oblige. They usually do. They're usually pretty good about listening to what we say. It's 2-0 though. Hong Kong breaks Argentina.
That was nice, good conversion, very, very effective. And that's what you want to see. Early stages of the game, Hong Kong Neon coming out very confident and strong, going to business.
Jack Lau, 30-year-old engineer, went to the University of Strathclyde in Scotland. Am I pronouncing that right?
Strathclyde, yes, that is correct.
That's why you're here, to keep me in check for my international knowledge or lack thereof.
Well, we'll do our best, Evan, to keep you in check. A little stumble there, bit of a contact on the mark, but no calls at all.
And Barnett stays with it and distributes the score. asked Ted Barnett before the game how many different countries he's been to, and he couldn't give me an answer. He says he's filled up 2 different passports full of stamps.
So a very well-cultured individual at this point. One of the few true pickup players, I believe, for Hong Kong.
Was over there, ran a couple coaching clinics when he was on vacation, bonded with some of the players. They asked him to join this pole right near the pylon, but just wide of the field. So Argentina will come to the brick mark. And a horizontal stack being set up. Always fun to see the pre-point handshake. We just saw Willie Kunkel and Oscar Leinbach shake hands. Deep shot is not going to land in bounds.
And that's the second we're going to see from Argentina, just sailing out this near side of the field. There's not really much wind. Yesterday was a lot choppier in terms of the conditions, but still landing out of bounds this near side might happen a lot more as the conditions change. Certainly yesterday we saw rather a calm start, but as the day went on, things definitely picked up in terms of the wind.
It's a fun matchup right here. A couple champions, Trudy Phillip on defense and Kristen Franke on offense for Hong Kong. Franke, a champion with Washington, D.C. scandal. One of her teammates said that she's playing in her 6th World Championships here this week in Ohio.
Well, they will be delighted to have her aboard.
Lung sending it deep. Nice adjustment by Kunkel, orienting himself to the disc.
Yeah, it looked
and
like
he slices it through and into the end zone. It's 3-0 Neon.
Yeah, credit to Kunkel there. It looked like the defender had excellent position and certainly stature on Kunkel, but he did almost a magical maneuver to get the body position in front and take that disc down. Excellent stuff. And that is, Evan, a 3rd point on the board for Hong Kong Neon and their 2nd break of this game thus far.
Couldn't have asked for a better start. And it was that adjustment from Kunkel, who played at Whitman College out in Walla Walla, Washington.
That is an excellent place name. Can you please repeat that for me, Evan?
Well, it's Walla Walla. You should go. It's beautiful country out there. I've never been, but I've heard.
I've heard. Well, we'll perhaps we'll take a visit together, Evan. Maybe if they schedule a tournament there or something, we can go in.
This isn't your first trip to the U.S., is it?
No, I was actually had the absolute delight of visiting one of the nicest states, I would say, in Hawaii earlier on this year.
That barely counts as the United States. That's paradise.
It is indeed island paradises, and I grew up myself on a little island over in the British Isles, an island attached to the island. A place called Portsmouth. If you blink, you'll miss the bridges.
I was going to say, everyone who grows up in England is growing up on an island.
Indeed we are, British Isles, small but powerful island nation, but it's excellent to see these two teams coming out this morning, fired up and ready to go.
Well, Argentina has called the timeout, understandably so. It has been unforced errors, just a couple big throws that have sailed out of bounds. The receivers have had no chance. What do you think they're talking about in that huddle?
I think it's just about the focus, really. It's not that they're struggling with separation. They're getting free, they're getting open. They're just not making those connections. The throws are currently off. As you say, we've seen 2 big hucks drift out to this near sideline, sort of towards the cameras, but it's just execution at the moment. They need to refocus, put their heads back on, and come out calm and strong in this, what is that 3rd offensive point potentially. It would be sad to see Neon kind of come out and take a huge lead, because then it's, they're on the back foot. It's really difficult to generate. If you go down, we saw yesterday Yaka going down 4-0 to Russians Brilliant. And it's so hard from that position to claw it back, especially when it's a team you can beat. You get frustrated often. So hopefully they can come out now and show us what they got.
You fall behind 4-0. That's a really steep climb to overcome. This is Lauren Doyle. Playing catch with her friend Taylor Simpson. And then downfield, it's Hong Kong coming up with the interception.
Yeah, just too high. Bounces off the fingertips and into the hand of the defender.
Candace Say Ji-Hyo Kim. Say angles it again, coming back to the disc. It was Kaufman.
Oh, and a bit of an adventurous inside throw there, Evan.
Yeah, Say realized it as soon as it left her hand. It was the right decision, just not the right execution. Deep shot goes up. Doyle has the size advantage, and it's just off her fingertips on the brink of the end zone.
Yeah, that was fantastic boxing from Candice Say to get the D on that one. Like you say, didn't have the stature, but certainly had the chops.
Well, Say's an experienced player out of San Francisco with mischief. Frankie has a wide open target running deep. A defensive breakdown for Argentina, and when that happens, there was usually a call, and in this case, there was, and it's coming back. Grand Frankie looks like a candelabra signaling the pick.
Indeed. Separation quite that far is either, you say, a defensive miscue completely or a pick call, the latter in this case. Perhaps a bit of a clustered vertical stack. First time we've seen the Argentinian side really coming out with this vertical side.
Well, Argentina coming into this tournament talked about how, you know, their main goal wasn't about wins and losses. It was about to get the experience. They've used the hashtag Hacienda Historia, making history.
Oh, and see, making history with that bid. That's a beautiful block.
Doyle quickly picks up, and Argentina's on the board.
And the turn generated back from the O-line. The hand of Lauren Doyle using an excellent stretch there.
Romard to Segura, and the captain has the first goal for Argentina. It's 3-1 here in the first half.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Argentina Ultimate Club is on the board. After back-to-back breaks, the Argentinians do turn it again, but this time they get it back. Hong Kong, for the first time on D-line, not able to convert. So now we see the Hong Kong offense, and they didn't have a clean point on the first point of the game. They had one turnover and nearly one there. Barnett bids to keep it alive. Got to tell you, Hannah, I really like both of these teams' uniforms. The teal and black works for Hong Kong, and the Argentina mixture of blues and whites.
And there we see a little bit of lack of focus from Lau there. Disc just tumbling out of his fingers. I do agree with you though, Evan. Both sides looking very fly in terms of
Argentina looking for it all, and it's incomplete. Lau, sure-handed this time. Back to Barnett.
Talking about styles, you've got to talk about Lau's one leg up look he's currently rocking as he streaks deep against this zone from Argentina. I know both sides were hoping to use a bit of zone defense, try and change things up. But doesn't seem to be causing much trouble right now.
Well, Barnett prides himself on his decision-making. There's a pick, certainly in the middle of the field. Lau keeps possession alive, and you could make an argument that the pick was not involved in the play and that the disc should stay with Lau. There was a clear collision in the middle of the field, and Barnett learning that it happened a couple throws ago, so he'll retreat.
Yeah, he had his eyes on Lau and nobody else, so completely missed that pick call, but
Lau's doing a nice job getting open.
oh, he certainly is. Very, very speedy cutter indeed for this Hong Kong side.
Lau in the end zone for Hong Kong, and it's 4-1.
And there we see him use not only his speed, but also setting up his cut in the end zone very nicely. Very good patience from Hong Kong Neon there in the end zone. Oftentimes when players don't know each other so well, you will see a lot of spread cuts in that sort of red zone offense situation. But great patience from Neon there.
Harrison to Lau, second assist for Jack. Hong Kong has certainly come into this game focused and playing with a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. They took 2 breaks off the bat. D-line functioning very effectively. I think maybe Argentina, kind of came in, back foot. They definitely had a lot of unforced errors. We had that not clean hold initially from Hong Kong, but that was just by virtue of not paying attention to where the line was. It wasn't so much a fundamental error, just a technical footwork error, which is less the scene really. At this stage, it's very uncommon to see that. So maybe even overconfident, essentially. But it's nice to see Argentina kind of putting some work together. They had excellent defense from Lauren Doyle on that last point, certainly. Now looking a little bit flustered by Hong Kong.
Simpson and Doyle both so important to this Argentina offense. Here's Romard.
I don't doubt we'll see plenty of the use of the Argentinian women. Definitely have stature over many of the Hong Kong players as the disc goes up, trying to make use of exactly that.
Simpson a little too far for Nikki Lesniak.
And again, we see another huck not connecting for Argentina. Maybe they just don't know the pace of their own players.
You see that in Ultimate. Sometimes teams connect on everything, and sometimes they can't connect on anything. And so far in this game, Hong Kong has been in sync. Choi Kwon Yu looking for a reset, finds Lung.
Lovely cross-field swing. Very deep stack.
Kristen Franke sending it deep. Will Kunkel rises and scores.
Well, Will Kunkel is the man for Hong Kong this morning, Evan. That's another double example of his great receptions so far.
5-1, Neon leads. And you can see Franke directing traffic. Come on, I'm ready to huck it. No problem. It's that easy.
The other Franke on the team for Hong Kong. And what a snag that was. Great pressure from the defense.
Just to clarify, I think Grant is the other Franke on Hong Kong. Kristen is the top Franke. Of course, Kristen and Grant lived in Hong Kong together for about 5 years, 07 to 12. They coached Princeton in New Jersey for a handful of years as well. I've gotten to know Grant on the sidelines watching DC Scandal through the years.
Oh, she's only the other Franke because you happened to mention Grant first in the game, Evan.
That's fair.
He just got on the field first, you know.
Grant is a captain on this team, and I think he would admit that Kristen is the more important contributor. But they are a great pair, and they're off to a tremendous start, leading 5-1. And it's cool to see, Hannah. I've had the privilege of playing some Ultimate in Hong Kong. My sister and brother-in-law live there, so been able to visit, played with some of these Hong Kong players, played with and against some of them in a beach hat tournament, which was one of the most fun days of my life. So it's an incredible community, and you hear that about Ultimate communities all around the world. And typically, you enter a community for a few days, you experience it, and your heart is just warmed. And I think that's the special thing about the Ultimate community, and it rings true when you're talking about Hong Kong.
Well, certainly if you're looking at the geographic location, you've got the example of it is very much a melting pot of various different international cultures. And certainly an international destination being, you know, a banking center and financial center as it is, you do get a lot of people, especially, you know, Ultimate players do tend to be from Western sides very highly educated. So oftentimes they will attract those players from into those locations. And it, like you say, they're used to having people come into their scene and they accept them and embrace them with open arms. And oftentimes, obviously, those big players bringing lots of talent and experience in terms of coaching, which is invaluable. Speaking of coaches, we've got Jamie Segura on the Argentinian side of things. They call him a great leader with lots of experience in the bag. So hopefully he'll be able to advise his team as they are currently 3 breaks down in this game.
Segura's former captain of the U23 Colombian national team, grew up in Bogota, moved to Buenos Aires. That's a wide open look. Pretty good transition defense by Hong Kong to deny Argentina. Those last couple yards is just barely kept alive by Segura, and he'll pick up the assist into the hands of Fry. One of the local pickups, Fry, Cincinnati native, playing at Cedarville University. And the captain, Jaime Segura, distributes the score.
Yes, we now see Argentina firing on those big deep shots to their female players. Good to see them finally getting those connections in the bag. But this is great defense. Like you say, the transition from Hong Kong's fantastic, and they really stifle, making Argentina have to go to the very full stretch, as you see the coach, Jamie Segura, doing exactly just that.
It says something about a team when they may give up those first 68 yards easily, but if they bear down and make the opponent struggle for those final 2, that's a very positive sign for the continued growth of your franchise.
Certainly is, Evan, certainly is. And so that's a hold, much needed hold for Argentina. 3 breaks down, score at 5-2 to Hong Kong Neon. We were hoping for a tight one, Evan, but at the moment, it seems very much Hong Kong have their foot on the pedal and are in control of this match.
Argentina's had a couple break chances, but they're 0 for 2. Neon is 3 for 5 in break opportunities, but still very early in this mixed matchup.
And we'll see a big put from Hong Kong.
Perfect. Jackie Mann. Stall count rising. Mann needs a reset, or there's a call to halt play.
Yeah, a marking infraction, I think.
Mann takes the shot. It's a good one, and Argentina needs to do a better job covering that open side because Hong Kong had Kaufman wide open.
Yeah, that was a lovely, expansive and visionary throw near side of the end zone to us. Really liked the path of that disc. Not so much a blade, but just a roll curve that sat out nicely, was able to be scooped up.
Hong Kong in control with balanced effort, leading Argentina.
If you want to be a high performer, eat like one. Start with a balanced diet and drink plenty of water. Good nutrition is one of the best ways to boost your mental and your physical health.
Willie Kunkel on the pull for Hong Kong. A 3-break advantage for Neon. Argentina had Simpson wide open. Galvan downfield, and Leinbach thought about it. Leinbach certainly has a size advantage. Offensive cutter currently at the University of Minnesota. Simpson holstered it.
Yeah, I like his size advantage, but his cuts are coming out very flat, and he's not getting that much separation.
That's a good point. What would you like to see him do differently?
Just change the angle, make it harder. Turn harder and come in stronger. Got the hands in the air, trying to bait the hammer on the far side.
Martina Sadowski into the end zone, connecting with Jeff Hartline.
Yeah, she posts that into the letterbox with that lefty backhand. Lovely pop. Bit of a danger one. There was a defender in the channel, certainly ready to make a play, but wisely chooses to just let this streaming upline cut go through. I love that call. I'm open, give me the disc. And you can see there the defender waiting, thinking, but just allows Jeff Hartline to streak through. So much better spacing on the field there, Evan, from Argentina. Looking very deep early stages, but really good flow. No one kind of clustered in any particular space, kind of letting each other have the field that they need to set up their cuts properly, and that was very effective.
So 6-3, Hong Kong doubling up Argentina. What would you like to see from the Argentina defense as they look to break Hong Kong, something they have not done yet?
Well, certainly they're going to need to shut down the big receivers a little better.
Interestingly there, Hannah, excuse me, the game advisor was making the signal for offsides
But they
near
chose
the
not to call
Argentina
it.
end
Yeah.
zone, but Hong Kong didn't call it. And obviously it's players making all the calls, so now good field position as Argentina seeks its first break.
Yeah, off the back of an unforced error from Hong Kong.
Oh.
Oh, and that's a snag.
Tremendous grab by David Gomez.
Yeah, good solid movement here from the Argentinian side. Again, we see a really great spacing into the end zone, allowing the handlers to weave it between themselves, not getting in the way and bringing any defenders into the mix. You might get a poach block.
If anything, the weaving handlers were getting in each other's way a little bit.
Well, as we've said, these sides learning how to play with each other.
Looking to the end zone and overshooting the target.
Yeah, that did not look like a pretty throw when it came out of the hand. Very adventurous indeed. After such patience, just throwing it away, not treasuring the disc. And they throw away their opportunity for a break. Unless anything happens, obviously. Neon, not certain.
Kim Alexanderson, 40 years young. He's always enjoyed hucking it, and that one didn't have enough. The breeze is not significant, but that was into the slight wind.
And that's what we need to see. We need to see Argentina getting under those big puts of the Hong Kong side. And that's what they did very effectively just there. Not really the greatest choice, not much separation either, but they'll be happy with that.
Argentina has broken Hong Kong for the first time. Olarte in the end zone.
Yeah, working it on that far side, a nice shot. I honestly thought that the players were looking rather clustered. Everyone's sort of getting a bit excited, being, hey, you know, we've got yet another opportunity. They've given us the disc back. We really need a break, so, but nice to see them take it, kind of closing up that gap a little bit. 6-4 now to Hong Kong Neon. And we'll see once again returning to the field, Lau with his one leg up on his short slick, so watch out for that in the next point.
Olarte grew up in Bogota. Now lives in Buenos Aires, has a 5-year-old son of whom he says, quote, I know he'll be representing Colombia one day. High hopes from Dad. And in fact, one of the craziest cool stories in this entire World Championship tournament is the fact that on this Argentinian team, there is a mother and son who are teammates. Luli Aranda and her 14-year-old son, Maximo Pugliese. And you see a lot of brothers and sisters and cousins. You don't see a lot of mother-son combos as teammates at a World Championship event. That's just well done from the Hong Kong offense. Again, Jack Lau wide open, his customary position for the game. That's his third goal to reestablish the 3-goal lead. And when you get broken, Hannah, to be able to respond like that with a quick turnover-free possession, leaving no doubt, it makes a statement.
Especially with that choice of throw. Beautiful cross field to Hammer. Just sails through the air to the separation. I think the defender had completely given up when he saw that one go up. Didn't even bother chasing, which is not really what you want to see at this stage, but that was a great run down earlier as well. Really using all the speed and to have the finesse of coming off a really hard catch to just immediately stop, have a look up the field, and put the hammer straight away, all while wearing sunglasses, Evan. Very casual indeed.
Good hammer to finish the point, and now Hong Kong with an opportunity to break to take it to half. Games are to 15. Kunkel to launch the pull. Started playing Ultimate at Whitman because his friend Jeremy Norden told him he should join the college team. Jeremy Norden has had success at World Championships with Team Canada, Team Fisher-Price.
Well, Hong Kong will have been delighted that he was told that advice way back when, because he's been vital for their offense this game.
Aggressive defense from Frankie, but nice job by Kirsty Fry coming to the disc. And now shooting it to the end zone. Gomez in pursuit. Oh! What a play by Kunkel to intercept the disc in the end zone.
Kunkel had been doing a fantastic job of covering Gomez. He really had to try and set up that kick so hard. Oh, and a play right back.
Even better response by Segura. And into the end zone, he had Lesniak wide open and could not connect.
See now, unlike the 22 set of Chris Harrison from Hong Kong Neon, we see some conservation of greatness there. An amazing catch and then a turf throw. So Neon with a chance to take this essential point into the half.
Kunkel elevates again. He's got Roldy low going deep. He was open, and then he reset to a juggling teammate and unable to hang on.
Yeah, Maxime will be very disappointed with that. Just bobbles the catch completely.
It was Cal Lee who juggled it to the ground. Roldy Low, 33 years old, grew up in China, now a Hong Kong resident. Frankie again sends the backhand. This one is floating, and it is caught.
Not by the intended receiver, but an excellent adjustment there. Great speed to run that one down.
Yvonne Chang made the adjustment, a huge dump. That was a super dump.
Yeah, 2 big adjustments needed. Throwing very unexpected channels over here. Using the space effectively, but I think the wind's picking up.
Cheng. Yeah, we feel that breeze as well. This is Choi Kwan Yu. Hammer's going to float. And over the back, it is caught. Will it stand is the question.
There was a lot of traffic underneath that disc, Evan. Excellent play from Kunkel. Went up huge over the top, but whether he clattered into the back, I'm not sure.
We'll get another look at this. You wonder if the Argentina player's principle of verticality was disrupted. It's a really close call.
I think there was a bit of a push forward, certainly from the shoulders. It was a good play, definitely both players going up for it at the same time. But yeah, I think on the grounds of perhaps verticality. But we'll have a discussion. Game advisor on the field. We have the lovely Sandra Hansen from Canada, able to offer a neutral perspective. Bit of a risky shot though.
So the Argentina player was batting the disc as Kunkel got the disc. So it wasn't a strip. It may be a foul over the back, but Kunkel certainly had possession of the disc before his adversary.
And the key there, of course, Kunkel going with two hands, getting both around the grip around the disc.
But it appears that they are ruling it a foul, no contest. So Kunkel has agreed. A great scene in Ultimate. These two developing Ultimate communities, Hong Kong and Argentina, resolving this dispute.
Also easier for Kunkel to make that call, knowing that that they are quite so far ahead and have a nice buffer at the moment. Perhaps if things were tighter, there'd be a contested call, but oftentimes happens. Good spirit shown by both sides.
It's interesting how the score can impact people's generosity and intensity when it comes to accepting calls from their opponents.
And that is something that Neon have struggled with in terms of intensity. Not able to find their throws. Taking it too casual, but there we see Argentina throwing directly into the defense.
Yeah, it looked like Frankie was the intended receiver. Kunkel has certainly made his mark on this first half.
Oh, and there was not any spin on that disc. It was flopping in the wind.
Knocked down by Lesniak. And Argentina will take a timeout on perhaps the longest point of this first half, with Hong Kong on the brink of taking half. Argentina trying to settle things down.
Yeah, that is a wise call there from Segura. Just, I mean, that throw Hong Kong made with just no spin on it whatsoever just really shows like how sloppy this point has become. And Argentina throwing directly into Frankie. I mean, very interesting. I think it'll be good to see both these teams kind of refocus, just talk about what's going wrong. And like you say, very, very close to the half for Neon. I think if they take this point now, that's almost the game in the bag. It's so difficult. I would say at the beginning of the game, they went up 3 points, then got another break of score later in this half. Argentina have had one break so far, but it's really tricky coming into the second half. I mean, you can have a new game, but then all Neon have to do is just hold.
Well, the timeout dance party's breaking up. Let's check out some of the defense that we have seen. First, it was Kunkel. It looked like he had no business making this play.
And that is just absolutely phenomenal. He'd been all over the mark like glue. The setup for that cut was really tricky.
And then the response by Segura, retaking possession for Argentina. And Segura is the heart and soul of this Argentinian team. Came to Buenos Aires, ended up coaching the program. He was part of the World Games process a year ago. Been playing Ultimate for 12 years, 8 seasons with Bogotá's Euphoria. Jaime Segura was asked who his ultimate influences are, and he just named all the people that have coached him through the years. Here's a deep shot from Gomez, looking for Fry. Frankie there defensively, and she makes the play for Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's double coverage, a big ask of Kirsty Fry even. And again, Hong Kong the opportunity to take the half and really make it hard, but there's a yell there from the number 49 shirt.
Hong Kong turns it over.
Just again, another casual miscue from Neon. If they can tighten out those errors, they've got this game in the bag.
Heartline over to Segura.
Again, we see handlers working together, but that's an overthrow. Perhaps starting to show signs of fatigue as this point really drags on.
These are two teams both looking for their first win here this week. And a stumble downfield. Nikki Lesniak grabbing her left hamstring, it appears. And members from both teams are checking on her status.
Yeah, I think I can spy a knee brace, Evan, already on the leg that she is clutching.
Nikki Lesniak, a veteran of World Championships. She has played Ultimate all over the world in 25 different countries, from pickup to club to championships. Currently living in Maine. She grew up in Seattle, played for Estonia at WUCC in Lecco 4 years ago. She's Ultimate through and through, and this is just a bummer to see as Lesniak clearly shaken up.
It's the tricky thing, though, Evan, when you do play for that long, you kind of have ongoing injuries. I'm not sure if there was any contact on the field. I think it may have just been a misfooting. Takes the toll on the leg joints.
Lesniak played college Ultimate at the University of Washington for Element. Strong program in the USAU college game. She was traveling through Argentina, one of the 25 countries she's played Ultimate in, and befriended many members of the Argentinian Ultimate community. They approach her to play on this team, and this is just hard to see. A 7-4 game, Neon leading Argentina.
And in terms of the sports psychology of this, we also have the issue of, not only are they down, they've suffered numerous breaks. Going into a tough end of this half, to have an injury at this stage, it's going to knock your confidence and knock your focus even further if you're Argentina.
We'll take a timeout as Nikki Lesniak gets attended to. We hope for the best. 7-4 Neon leading Argentina in this mixed division pool play game from the World Ultimate Club Championships. Nikki Lesniak getting lifted off the pitch here on the showcase field in Lebanon, Ohio, and members of both teams assisting in this process. Game will resume with Hong Kong leading 7-4. Evan Lepler alongside Hannah Pendlebury. Honored to be a part of the WIFDIF broadcast crew here in Ohio this week.
We'll just see a discussion now with the game advisors. We have Steve Baker of Australia and Sandra Hansen of Canada advising the players as to, I believe, a stall count for this one. It's obviously the injury stoppage. I think it took a little while for the handlers to notice what had occurred upfield. And hopefully we'll see Lesniak perhaps not return to play this game. Seemed to be quite a little while. She was down on the field. But certainly the latter stage of this tournament as Argentina look to advance and represent their country for the first time at the World Club Championship level.
Aaron Lung, who's played several Ultimate tournaments in Canada, started at University of British Columbia, played with Team Fisher-Price at WUCC 4 years ago. Lung reinitiates play, immediately puts a nice shot to Cheng, who's looking for Kunkel, and in 2 throws, Hong Kong takes it to half. 8-4 Neon, who went winless yesterday, halfway to their first victory at 2018 Worlds.
And quite a secure victory it appearing to be, Evan. Going into this second half now, it's going to be such a challenge for Argentina. They're going to have to do everything in their power to mentally steel themselves and come out and try and at least trade.
It's hard to say anyone's been better than Will Kunkel's been for Hong Kong.
He's been absolutely incredible. A target and a great defender to boot. And there you see him streaking, bringing this 1.5, 8-4.
So Hong Kong doubling up Argentina. The Walla Walla educated 31-year-old Will Kunkel takes it to half for Hong Kong Neon.
Do you want to avoid overuse injuries? Cross-train. Get your exercise routine out of a routine and mix it up with a variety of activities. Your muscles, tendons, and joints will thank you later.
Heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
Back here on an overcast but humid day in Southern Ohio. At the half, it's 8-4 Hong Kong leading Argentina in this Pool D mixed division action. Pool D in the mixed division features 6 teams. Both Hong Kong and Argentina winless yesterday, and Hong Kong is looking like it has made strides from day 1 to day 2.
They really have, Evan. They were speaking yesterday about the fact that their first game, ever as a team together, they really tightened things up, and there have been some miscommunications so far this game, but they are looking like a dominant force to be reckoned with, really hitting those connections to Kunkel all game long. Standout player of the match for me so far. I don't know about you, Evan.
There's no question about it. He's got a goal and an assist and a couple goals. But it's not just him. Kristen Franke has been involved. Jack Lau caught 3 scores, and Hong Kong has employed the hammer several times successfully to that break side. This was the play of the half for sure. Kunkel denying David Gomez with authority.
Exactly. That's why he's my my player of the game thus far, is that he's been doing it on both sides. He's been having an excellent time as a receiver on offense, but also going big. We also had an amazing D earlier from Frankie. She was fantastic in the double coverage instance against Argentina in the end zone. And look at that again from Kunkel.
That was actually overturned. Kunkel caught the disc, but it was ruled he fouled the Argentina player. Here's the final point of the half after the injury to Lesniak, and play resumed. Couple quick throws to space, and Kunkel takes it to half. Hong Kong leading Argentina 8-4 at the break.
And this is the thing, Evan.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
No kid should have an overuse injury. Limit young ones to one sport per season, save sport specialization for later, and cross-train with your kids. Parents and kids will both benefit.
A few minutes away from the start of the second half, Hong Kong leading Argentina 8-4. It's day 2, round 2 here at the World Ultimate Club Championships, an event that will culminate on Saturday with 3 straight championship games over at Mason High School beginning at 10 a.m. And the intensity will only ramp up as the week progresses. It's always interesting and overwhelming at the start of the week, and then teams figure things out and it gets to a different level. Evan Lepler with Hannah Pendlebury, our amazing statistician and bagel chip making extraordinaire, Melissa Battis, helping us out down on the field. And Hannah, as you think about how the second half might unfold, Argentina clearly has work to do, but I'm not sure Hong Kong are unbeatable. What things can Argentina adjust as they look to improve in the second half?
Well, certainly there are opportunities to be capitalized upon, but the really lethal thing about Hong Kong is that they have been really good at converting things when they get turnovers. Their D-line has had 3 perfect conversions in this game, so that's a 60% rate of completion. So it's not what you're seeing from Argentina. They are generating turns. Like you say, Hong Kong are a very beatable side. It's not like they're playing perfectly. We, in fact, have had some really fluffy moments. Like there was a disc that was released earlier that just had 0% spin. There have been drops. There have been unforced errors. There have been some big plays for sure, which are getting Hong Kong's D-line fired up, and I think that's been their credit. But it's the fact that when Argentina get the opportunity, they're not taking advantage, and they have to be a lot cleaner when they generate those turns. So it's just a case of discipline on offense, I think. You know, being not so hot-headed. We had an instance earlier with a bit of what we would call in the UK a conservation of greatness from coach Jamie Segura, where he got an incredible layup bid to keep the disc alive and then immediately turfed it. And that's the focus that you can't afford to lose when you're trailing in this sort of game. So really it's about poise and focus on offense, and just at the moment they're getting the disc off of Neon, they just have to treasure it when they do and take those opportunities, or they're just going to trade out this game.
Argentina played Japan Shinsu Lusta Universe yesterday, entering this round in Pool D in the mixed division. Every team had played twice. Canada's Anchor and Philippines Mulatto Filipinas were both 2-0. New Zealand Marvelous DC and Japan Shinsu Luz both 1-1. Argentina and Hong Kong both looking for their first wins here in this game. And it was Hong Kong, the team that's up 8-4 at the half, that had the uglier point diff yesterday. But you look at Hong Kong's schedule yesterday, they played against Canada, Anchor, and New Zealand Marvelous. Improved as the day went on. To finish in the top 5 in the pool, you still have a chance to win a championship, and for each of these teams, just getting in that bracket would be very meaningful. Second half underway. Argentina receiving. Olarte was streaking deep. Disc reset to Galvan.
And again, we see Argentina with good spacing up the field.
Olarte sending it. Romard bids just shy of the end zone. He's got it. Lefty backhand to Lauren Doyle. And Argentina, a strong turnover free start to the second half.
Not sure if that was an offhand throw, Evan, but that one again, lots of flopping in the dish. Very well received off the back, but the spacing really working to the advantage of Argentina right now. They're allowing each other to be in a space. No one's sitting in a stack at all. So all of the defenders are constantly kept busy, you never know, there's no help defense right now. No one's able to peel off, especially when they have the deep cuts from their women. It's really great to see.
Kyle Romard Number 15 for Argentina, played University of Cincinnati, the captain of the Cincy program, former U.S. national team member in the sport of karate. Traveled the world for competitions throughout his life, and he's a big Tim Tebow fan. That's why he wears number 15 in honor of his favorite athlete, who is a multi-sport star too. Tim Tebow, great college football player, and now he might be in the major leagues with the New York Mets by the end of the season.
Well, maybe if Mr. Tebow is watching us, if he happens to have perhaps
Oh,
caught a glimpse of
he's
Ultimate
definitely
Frisbee.
watching.
Speaking of what you can watch, talking about this pool earlier and the results and matchups within it, we actually have another game from this very same pool on the other string with our co-commentators Emmy and Ian. So if you want to be dual screen experiencing and catching all the action from this wonderful Pool D, then you can do so right now.
That game was 8-7 at the half. Not that we're encouraging you to stop listening to us, but I think 2 computers is the way to go.
Oh, it's all about the quad screen experience. There are 4 streams available, plenty of Ultimate to keep you busy.
Man had Grant Frankie going deep. Instead, takes the easier under and now has Grant Frankie coming under. Center the disc to Kaufman. Looking to drop in another hammer, and it's going to work. That's been the game plan throughout the day for Hong Kong. And Monty Lai secures the 9th goal for Neon.
Yeah, this time a contested hammer, but Escara not able to match the speed. The 29-year-old computer scientist just gets a little bit caught on the back foot, but that's a beautiful, once again, expansive use of the overhead throws.
Obviously, all Hong Kong has to do is hold on offense from here on out. And Lai, the University of Toronto product, hauls it in.
Is that something you can buy, University of Toronto product, Ultimate Frisbee player, Evan?
Depends how much you want to spend, I think. He's probably for sale if you, I mean, he's expensive.
Yeah, definitely a top quality item. They got a little factory in that program by the sounds of things.
Argentina trailing by 4. You hear the double whistle, that means it's time to go.
So 40 minutes left on the clock, Evan. See if Argentina can put another one on the board, keep it alive.
Line back, holstered on the first shot. This is like a Hail Mary. Bodies tumbling in the end zone, and no one gets a finger on it as it falls to the ground.
That was a shame to see Leonardo Bernardi not really, she could have backed that one up, I feel. Just waited for it to be hit in traffic.
The 14-year-old Maximo Pugliese was the closest, and he's calling a stall, and it is being contested firmly. I don't know about you, Hannah, but to see a young teenager, I mean, we're not talking 18, 19, 14 years old playing at the World Championships, it just makes me jealous. Like, why didn't I find Ultimate when I was so young in life? How good could we have been if we had discovered Ultimate when we were so much younger?
Well, and that's what all of us are terrified about, Evan, of the generation that's currently in their early 20s, is soon it'll be the case that, you know, people who start playing in the college and university scenes are going to be outmatched by those playing from the age that they were basically the size of a disc.
Taylor Simpson to Leinbach. And a travel called. The story of how Taylor Simpson started playing Ultimate is pretty hilarious, although not all that uncommon in the Ultimate world. When she was in high school about 12 years ago, one of her good friends had a big crush on the guy who was playing for the high school Ultimate team. So as you do, you need a wingman, or a wing woman to go with you. So Taylor Simpson was that wing woman, and that friend lost interest pretty quickly in both the guy and ultimate. Taylor Simpson,
stayed.
12 years later, is playing ultimate in the World Championships, representing Argentina.
Wow. All of these stories, we definitely have lots of people to thank for giving us these extremely high quality ultimate players. I was really surprised at the World Games to see so many of the male players on rosters having come to ultimate by being like, I heard there were girls there.
It's a factor for many of us. I can say that confidently.
Obviously one of the USPs of the sport as we're on the end zone line. A beautiful shot. That is money.
Kristen Franke again bluffed the backhand, opened up the flick. And it's Yu holding on to the score. Choi Kwon Yu makes it 10-5 Hong Kong.
And that is a fantastic throw into the space. Hong Kong have been very effective with these sort of bladey, roll curvy flicks in this right-hand side end zone.
Hong Kong in control, second half from Ohio.
Heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
Argentina receiving the pull going into the slight breeze here at the Lebanon Sports Complex, the sparkling facility outside of Cincinnati, and a pick downfield. The spacing issues downfield are what often lead to picks, and you look at the alignment of Argentina's players. If we could zoom out and show you the wide shot, you got everybody in this one little tight space. They want to improve this spacing.
And that was something they really struggled with early stages of this game, Evan, and they really cleaned it up midsection. Sad to see them coming back with that, perhaps a side stack approach, but there is a picked off pass.
Yeah, great anticipation by Barnett. Reading the angle. Franke breaks the mark, and the throw just a tad behind Jack Lau in the end zone.
Yeah, the favored target, just poor execution of the throw in that instance. Much better spacing,
Barnett
but there
again.
you go.
Breaks the mark, a little too tall for Donna G.
And that's pure lack of focus there. Two fantastic Deidre and Barnett, and then immediate throwaways. Talked about their good conversion rate earlier. They must have heard me. Commentators curse, Evan. And again, Argentina starting to look a bit clustered around the disc. Deep shot comes, help defense, but look at the speed.
Fabian Galvan takes the timeout.
I'd like that call, wise. You oftentimes see people take down big hucks, call a timeout when they have one player isolated, but everyone was behind the disc at that point, Evan.
There are multiple camps of thought with that sort of timeout. The number of times I've seen a team call a timeout when they had an open player in transition if they had just waited a second, and then turn it over when they allow the entire defense to come up. You can see both sides of the conversation. We'll see how it pays off here for Argentina. But Galvan not hesitating at all. It'll be coming in on stall one.
That's what I mean, though. If you get the timeout call in early when everyone else is behind you, that's reasonable. But I totally agree with the other side of the argument of if you have maybe 2 or 3 in front of you, it's an interesting one to allow the defense to then be in a set position, taking away what they want to, as opposed to perhaps on the back foot a little bit. But as you say, we'll see how this one pans out for them.
Later today, Argentina will take on Canada anchor.
Not expected to go very well unless something magical happens right now in terms of the difference between these two games. As we said earlier, Neon very delighted to have put up a better performance second game yesterday against the Canadian side versus their slightly shaky performance against the New Zealand side.
And I must correct myself. Argentina plays anchor tomorrow. They play New Zealand's marvelous DC this afternoon. Hong Kong will take on Shinsu Loose later today. And well executed out of the timeout from the Argentinians. Jeff Hartline to Martina Sadowski.
And that is their third point in this half now, Evan. Neon got a break the last one, but that is a great response. And clearly that timeout call working out in this instance.
Now 10-6. Sadowski, the goal scorer, has said how proud she is being from La Plata, Argentina, to be among these players making history at these World Championships for Argentina. And they said their main goal is to leave a good spirit mark and show their rivals from around the world that they won't surrender as easy as some might think. And here's the trivia question for the day, Hannah. There are 4 countries participating at WUCC for the first time this year. Argentina is one. Can you name any of the other 3?
Do I get a bit of time to think about it, Evan?
Yeah, you can think about it at home. After this point, we'll unveil that answer. Our trivia question is brought to you by Fulcrum Media.
Our favorite sponsors of all trivia questions.
Kim Alexanderson.
Bit of a deep stack from Hong Kong Neon. Favoring their horizontal, which 2 of their offensive lines planes, but just turfs the disc.
An opportunity. Deep shot goes up. Segura, will it float enough? Fry can't get there.
It looked a little bit like Fry kind of gave up on that one a teeny tiny bit. She ran behind it, but that did not look like her full pace. We've got to open up those legs and chase it down, but she did not know that was coming. Saw the surprise on her face as she looked over her shoulder.
Alexanderson wants the flick, bluffs it, takes the reset. Oh, another great grab by Frankie. Grant keeping possession alive. He's certain that he had it. Looks like the disc maybe tacoed a little bit.
It does in the hand. Does not look good, does it? We'll have a potential check disc situation once they've decided whether the disc was up or down. Wonder if we might get another look at that one.
I'm kind of amazed that the disc doesn't become morphed like this more often. Not sure if we can take a look at a replay here and see. Pretty sure Frankie caught this before it hit a blade of grass, and without question. Now, the question is, did he maintain possession through the landing? And that was tough to tell from that angle. He certainly held on long enough for the disc to cut in half almost.
Yeah, it was a tightly closed fist, make no mistake. But tricky call to be made.
Olarte will contest it and send it back, and this gives me the chance to ask you, there's perspectives from all around the world about self-officiation versus game advisors versus observers versus referees. What's the personal Hannah Pendlebury opinion?
The personal Pendlebury opinion. I like the neutral perspective element of it. I think it's useful and valuable. I think self-refereeing is a very unique part of the sport. I think it's very good and very healthy. I wouldn't like to see referees. I'm in 2 minds. We'll say that.
Deep shot going up, and Hong Kong converts. Monty Lai has been to Neon what Jack Lau was in the first half, catching multiple goals and bringing Neon within 4 scores of a victory.
Indeed, and their first victory in this tournament Talking about the disc being tacoed, the flight path on that assist was absolutely beautiful, Evan. Smooth as butter.
So Lai, the 28-year-old, hauls in the score. Smooth offense from Hong Kong after the long chat about the Frankie catch. It's time to answer our WUCC trivia question. Who are the 4 countries participating in Worlds for the first time? And the answer is Argentina, Chile, Kenya, and Uruguay.
Oh, okay. Well, I knew that Kenya was one of them because we covered their game yesterday against Boom of Korea, which was...
They were impressive, weren't they?
They were very impressive.
What stood out most about what they did on the field?
I think what stood out most was the beautiful defense that they played. Really clean. There were so few calls in that game, Evan, but such huge bids. Like the speed on their players, and for a young ultimate scene, certainly at the world stage, they played incredibly well for their first game of the tournament.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Couldn't have gone much better. Here's Lauren Doyle. Oh, threw it into the good defense, and David Gomez calling a foul on Cal Lee.
Oh, I think that might be a strip there, Evan. There's lots of hand gesturing saying, I had a hand round that one. I'd stop rotation. Definitely a fantastic bid from Lee, though. Very clean in terms of body contact.
Lee is wanting to get the perspective of the game advisor. We get the perspective of an instant replay, and that's from that angle, it certainly doesn't look like possession was established by Gomez.
It's difficult to tell on replays, though, with strips. Certainly fouls, we can get a good look, but it's all about the feel in their hand, I think, and that's why it's ultimately the player's call. You know, if you really feel like you had a good grip around it, we can't tell grip from just looking, whereas I think a player could, you know, the feeling in their fingers, even though they're covered in gloves for Gomez there. And it will come back, contested call. Not surprising, but a great bid nonetheless from Lee.
Doyle very calm with the disc, sets up the Simpson Huck into traffic.
Oh, what a defensive bid. That's sensational.
Kunkel again for Neon. And throwing into the defense, easily picked by Romar, nearly a Callahan, and he will score the goal off the quick dish. Argentina back within 4 on the alert play from Romard.
Yeah, and a hand gesture of frustration there from the full shirt of Kirsten Franke. But it was a tight bid. She nearly had it. But it seems like no one noticed that there was a giant man in the middle right next to Franke when they tried to throw to her. Not sure how Argentina managed to hide him. Maybe they've been working on some elaborate cloaking device, Evan.
You know, as someone who's thrown into several poaches, I can say that sometimes you can just get a little tunnel visioned on the field.
That's true. You normally get tunnel vision towards the end zone, but sometimes it's for one specific player. Lovely to see, though, both sides using the majority of their roster frequently. Not always the case when you have some of the more mixed teams in terms of players coming in, friendships and connections from other ultimate scenes. There's a tendency to sometimes exclude people just because you're not used to throwing with them, but lots of touches across the board on both sides in this match.
Pretty good pull from Oscar Leinbach, landing right near that corner pylon. Quick center, and then Leinbach, the layout D.
Now that is huge for Argentina.
And it is quickly transformed into a break.
Oh, Evan. Do we have a game on our hands all of a sudden?
Jeff Siddiqui, better known as Bandit, played college ultimate here in the States at the University of Michigan. He knows the flight streams in the Midwest. And it's 11-8.
As 4 women are now called by Argentina, but line back there, that defensive play, Evan, using all 6'4" of his stature, flying through the air.
I'd say if Argentina gets one more break, then it becomes very interesting. Hong Kong still has a comfortable cushion, but Argentina certainly has momentum. Their second break of the game, and it was the Leinbach pull that set it up, and then the bid anticipating the underneath shot.
And fantastic work. So as you say, if they get another break now, very different feeling to Argentina. They really come back. They look very flat, like they had the injury.
Leinbach pulls again. No matter whether you're at your first World Championships or your 10th, you can still lay out like anybody. Deep shot goes up. Frankie wants Barnett. He's got steps near the sideline. He lands in the end zone, and Hong Kong converts quickly to respond. 12-8, Neon.
And a deserved celebration from Barnett there. Earlier on in the game, of course, we saw a bit of a switched off lack of awareness of the lines of the end zone, but Barnett making no mistake there, reading the disc, looking at the end zone line, just saw a little glimpse down. That's fantastic work to know that he can just immediately take that score. And what a disc from Frankie, ripped it.
Well, Hong Kong now within 3.
And a great response to Argentina's break, Evan.
Within 3 of the 15-goal mark, that is. Back on top by 4. And I just heard our executive producer, Tim Rockwood, say that lunch is on the way, which is also good news.
Well, speaking of being fed, hopefully, although, Evan, I'm sure you're keen to get some food inside your tummy, Argentina will hopefully come out hungry in this point to put one on the board and keep the dream alive of their first win in this tournament.
And if you're hungry for more Ultimate, we got plenty more of that too throughout the day. 3 more rounds after this one. Nice bid there by Gomez to keep it alive. Roldy low, active on the mark. Roldy would want us to remind folks that he is the co-creator of the greatest Ultimate bag.
Oh, and a great backup there. She's kept that in the bag.
Yep, kept alive by Fry. Seeing those bags more and more around these World Championship events. Looking to Hartline, he elevates in the end zone for Argentina. And that's back-to-back turnover-free holds. This game developing a little flow late in the second half.
Yeah, clean holds. Definitely some bins in there, having to rescue some errant throws, though. We had the layout from Gomez and then the backup from Fry on a completely missed disc. But there we'll see that sky again. Great grab from Jeff Hartline.
This gentleman in his mid-30s has played a good deal of Ultimate. There are a lot of great stories on this Argentina team. And one of them that we haven't mentioned yet, Trudy Phillip. While her team was starting to warm up, she was in the tent breastfeeding her son, Ezra, born in April.
A bit of a theme of women in sport locally. Obviously, this weekend just gone, we had the Wimbledon women's final.
Yeah, 6 mothers in the women's field at Wimbledon. Obviously, of course, Serena falling just short in the final to Angie Kerber. But excited for Trudy and her husband, Adam Simon, better known in the Ultimate community as Chicken. He's playing for Seattle BFG, one of the World Championship contenders in this mixed division. David Kaufman shoots it long. Jackie Mann unable to get there. Disc did not float enough, and Doyle quickly initiates play. Great fake.
I think
Man thought it went up.
Yeah, I think Man might be a little bit dizzy after that misread. Being sent upfield by a fake. Leaping catch, and that's a loud piece of contact, Evan. We heard that in the booth through our headsets. Not sure about the play of Anderson coming through, but he was dragged through by his mark from the Argentinian side. Straight into the chest.
Olarte and Anderson, no worse for wear, we hope.
Oh no, the nice thing, I think their chest cavities hit dead on. If you're going to take contact at that speed, you want to get, same as with a layout technique, you want to get as many points of contact getting hit at the same time to spread the shock out a little bit. But Olarte clearly made of some stern stuff there, Evan.
Frankie will pick up Olarte. He had Leinbach in the open lane, didn't hit him quickly enough, but that lane is still open. Leinbach rises up, thought about the hammer, still thinking about it, goes for the high release backhand, and now this is getting interesting because Argentina has climbed within 2.
And that is Trudy Phillip, who we were name-checking earlier. Mommy Phillip taking in the goal, and Evan, Argentina are way back in this. It's going to be crucial to see how Hong Kong are going to respond now.
They trailed by as many as 5, and it was 10-5 early in the second half. But Argentina has continued to fight. The athleticism of Leinbach in the decision-making, not forcing the hammer, and then Phillip to the open space. Pretty good bid from Hong Kong as well. Unable to get there.
So you asked me at the opening of this half, Evan, what Argentina needs to do differently in terms of getting back in this game. And I said it was about being more efficient on their offense because Hong Kong weren't giving away the disc. But what Argentina have now started doing is taking away the disc from Neon. They're not just pressuring errors, they are going and making bids and snagging it out of the hands of the offense and taking control and firing up their offense consequently.
An amazing scene just unfolded to our right that unfortunately we didn't catch on camera. Trudy Phillip scored the goal, went over to the stroller that her mom was rolling around, checked on Ezra. All was good. Immediately went back to the sideline and started screaming at her team, imploring defense. Jack Lau in the end zone.
Ooh,
A huge collision, and Lau could call a couple fouls, presumably on that play.
yeah, heavy contact taken there. I agree with you, Evan. I feel like there's going to be at least one foul call justified. Whether there'll be one made, we'll have to wait. I think the hand signals are for foul. Bit of a Lau sandwich there. You've got an elbow in the left center of the chest cavity.
I think the first guy got him on whiff diff rules, and the second guy got him on USAU rules, or vice versa. Saw the arm was hooked, and the other arm got hooked.
Ooh.
Thankfully, it appears Jack is all right.
And you can see Segura there on that slow motion replay. He understands, obviously, as he lands on the back of Lau, he's very aware of the contact he's just made. And so you can see the hand gently kind of being like, trying to land as softly as possible. Not the biggest player, Lau, from the UC. It's been good to see the injury prevention and conditioning coming into the sport, especially with players having very long careers and not much of an off-season in some locations. I know the UK is really bad for that because we have indoors, but not the biggest player, but it's good to see that kind of strategy coming in, putting some muscle on joints for a little bit more protection.
Looks like we're going to see an uncontested foul. And just to clarify, the key difference between the USAU rule set and the whiff diff rule set, USAU permits a certain amount of incidental contact after a defender has gotten the disc, as long as it is not a dangerous play. Whereas in the WIFDIF rulebook, you're not allowed to have any contact with the other player. They really stick to the true nature of it's a non-contact sport. Obviously, dangerous plays are fouls and not desired in either rule set.
Yeah, I think
trying to force that one in, but great defense, miscommunication. Harrison wasn't expecting it, and the Argentina defender from the stack realized immediately. So now the Argentinians have the opportunity to get within one. The intensity has ramped up in this game. Just day 2, round 2 at the World Ultimate Club Championships.
And we have a very free player in the deep space. Communication from the sideline doing a fantastic job of saying spoil.
Well, the space deep opened up the territory underneath for Galvan. And Jack Lau, the acrobatic bid, quickly pop right back up. That's one of the great skills in Ultimate that's not discussed enough. The ability to make that bid and then pop up like nothing happened. I know with me, it took me a while to get up once you land down like that.
Well, it's the understanding. If you've got to play defense immediately, you might be on the floor, but you got to get up.
The value of setting that mark.
Exactly. Same thing when there's a turnover or a drop. You got to go immediately, heads up.
Great disc movement here from Argentina. Kirsty Fry. Kirsty's dad, the volunteer coordinator at the World Ultimate Club Championships here in Ohio. Siddiqui into the end zone, just shy of it. One more throw brings Argentina as close as they have been the entire game. But a travel called, so hold everything.
Travel might bring it back, but I feel like we're going to see the same result here.
And Hong Kong jumped out to a 3-0 lead at the start, a hold and 2 breaks. Argentina got within 2 at 3-1, but then another break for Hong Kong stretched the lead to 4 at 5-1. They've led by as many as 5. Argentina right now on a 5-2 run, which is nearly a 6-2 run as we move into the business end of this game. Siddiqui takes the reset for Rolmard. Bandit to the end zone. He's got his target. And Argentina's fired up.
Yeah, deserved celebration.
Leonella Bernardi with the score, and it's 12-11 here on the showcase field.
Well, Evan, I said it, I know I asked the question, do we have a game on our hands? And now I am certain that we do. You can see the passion that Argentina have suddenly brought to this game. And Hong Kong Neon just seem to be looking for the same faces, and Argentina are wise to it. They're shutting it down. They're doing a great job. But perhaps we might see one of the standout players for the Hong Kong side, who's currently on the line, that far end. The young male presence that is William Kunkel, who actually, Evan, I was talking before the game with the team, and he has been described as their most fun player off the field. He's a little bit of a goofball, but brings a lot of personal and positive energy to their team. Definitely getting them fired up in this match, and hopefully they can get a bit of fire of their own. Argentina currently on the charge, snapping at their heels.
We've heard that Hong Kong has some players that can have a little too much fun. Right now, what would be most enjoyable is for Hong Kong to get a hold and to close out this game, but that will not do it. Miscommunication there. Jeannie Kwan sent it deep to nothing but grass. And Argentina has 70 yards to tie this game at 12.
They've got 70 yards and all of the momentum in the world, Evan. They're going to come out with a vertical stack. Hopefully they can find that good spacing for each other again.
Argentina currently on a 3-0 run after trailing 12-8.
Oh, and Kunkel comes up big. It's going to be a foul call, uncontested by the looks of the hand signals.
Leinbach called the foul, and Kunkel agreed.
Yeah, difficult to avoid contact with such a large-statured player. We see a little bit of a slow start out the blocks after the foul call. Is that going to be redeemed by the number 4 shirt? Oh, just unable to make the adjustment in his body position.
Frankie picks up. Here's Kunkel. Pick downfield. And Kunkel's wondering whether he gets to keep the disc. Gotten our money's worth of this Kunkel-Leinbach matchup.
We definitely are.
Looking for Barnett. Yes, indeed! Ted Barnett bids and hauls it in. Hong Kong needed that in a huge way.
Oh, make no mistake. Stemming the bleeding that's been happening in the second half of this match. Argentina did a fabulous job, but just quite couldn't find the upfield flow. That vertical stack not really working out for them. Putting a lot of pressure on individuals to get free. That's a beautiful take. Snags the top side of the disc coming through there, Evan. Not the easiest catch to make at all. Especially great to see him keep a grab of it as he tumbles into the turf.
Barnett's been making grabs like that for a long time. Started his ultimate career at University of Central Florida a little over a dozen years ago. He's played in Dallas, in Los Angeles, Denver, grew up in the Orlando area, traveled the world, filling up multiple passports. He's also successfully run triathlons and been a cyclist in Hong Kong within 2 of their first win at Worlds. We'll take a timeout, 13-11 here from Ohio.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Well, this contest meandered around for a while, but it is reaching its high point of intensity. 13-11, Hong Kong leading Argentina. The Barnett bid and score squelched the 3-0 Argentina run. And now the blue-shirted Argentinians ready to receive, and the breeze has picked up, coming right in our faces, which signifies basically a crosswind. You can see the flags in the back of the end zone where they are lined up, far side of the field to the near side of the field from our perspective.
And that's what we called at the beginning of this match, Evan. Often difficult at these long tournaments to see when there are changeable conditions versus whether you have an early or late game schedule, but Argentina off to the races right now.
Galvan with a wise holster back to Simpson.
And good to see them slipping back into that horizontal stack look after they struggled with vertical offense in the previous point.
You see the clock on the screen. If we reach that time before we get to 15, we'll add 1 to the higher score and play to that margin. 100 minutes, the whiff-diff cap. And that one sliding off the hands of the Argentina receiver. Kirsty Fry deep for Barnett, and that one sails over his head. The wind took it.
Exactly, a nice display for us, Evan, of exactly what we were talking about just now. Conditions changing, and it's a miscued throw, but I mean, heads up to the number 8 shirt of Kirsty Fry on trying to get that catch before that just hit her in the left hand and went out. into the field. Just almost back-breaking that position she was in.
Well, the other dynamic for Kirsty Fry, who's playing for Argentina, she was born in Hong Kong. So to be going against the country where she was born, and they're calling for ice from the sidelines. One too many injuries in this game. Saw Nikki Lesniak go down earlier. Have not gotten a report on her. Otherwise, we'd certainly pass it along.
Well, she doesn't appear to be on either sideline right now, Evan.
I was very impressed. I arrived at the fields yesterday, Hannah, and walked right by the medical tent, and it is a medical mansion. They have so much space, so many personnel, resources. The players who do get shaken up are in good hands, and well, this is not a good sign as we're seeing another player get carried off the field. Let's take another look. See if we can surmise what happened here. Hard to tell. Just reaching for that left ankle.
I think it's one of those blink and you'll miss it, but the player he was marking seemed to have moved for quite far away when he went down. So maybe just one of those tweaked ankle situations, as often has happened in games.
Back to the game. Argentina looking to inch within one yet again.
Beautiful connections here, Evan. It just looks like they're walking the disc down the field with those give-goes.
May have gotten away with a drag of the pivot foot, but it goes uncalled, and Argentina delivers into the hands of Bernardi.
And this is delightful to see in the business end of this pool play match, Evan. Argentina really coming back at it. Hong Kong did the right thing and got that early lead, still in front, but all they have to do is hold. But right now, Argentina are the ones looking on fire.
Leonela Bernardi grew up in La Plata, worked as a teacher, big basketball fan, Manu Ginobili fan, the great Argentinian lefty. And it's 13-12, a minute away from the cap. If Argentina scores this, it's very likely that it would become game point at 13-all.
Oh, and wouldn't that be a spicy way to finish this match of these two teams?
Delectably spicy. Leinbach to pull. Hong Kong.
Early deep shot from Frankie. Handler decides not to take it though.
Donna G. Over to Kaufman. To space. Oh, Say unable to get there. Bids, but got her hands on it and could not hang on. Argentina on the brink of tying this game up, and the overthrow. Leinbach too far ahead for Phillip. Phillip no worse for wear, though, after the bid.
That one Say took looked like it really hurt. She full-on face-planted into the floor. Maybe she'll have a little bit of whiplash going on later on today, but hopefully not.
By the way, it was Chris Harrison who was shaken up for Hong Kong. Hopefully he's all right. He's icing his ankle down in the tent to our right. Time has expired. If Hong Kong scores here, they'll need to get to 15. If Argentina scores, it will become universe. Tony, he's icing his ankle, but he's also paying attentive focus on what's transpiring on the field. Both teams want this game, as you can tell from the energy. Argentina comes up with another block.
Oh, and there's the wind sneaking through there, Evan.
Right through the hands of Leinbach. And this is just an example of the inexperience of these two countries in the international ultimate community. Chances abound. Grant Frankie holsters, finds Barnett. Bluffs the lefty backhand. Ginny Kwan. Past Kaufman, coming to the disc, and we've seen a few players slipping and sliding on the field. This is Kunkel.
Oh, that'll be Virtue, Evan, to the long turf on the fields. Great for layouts, but not so great for turning circles.
Oh, good cut there. Ginny Kwan just burned her defender up the line, looking for Barnett, hanging in the air. Barnett can't get it. Argentina delivers another game-saving D.
And that was all about the hang time on that throw. Whereas a blade would have got there much faster. That put so much time with the defender to get an eye on it and just bat it away aggressively.
Former basketball player Noel Mayo winning the jump ball. Tremendous. Argentina the other way, looking for the equalizer late in the second half. Deep shot from Linebach goes up, floating to the end zone, and it's Kunkel who comes up for Hong Kong.
Oh, Evan, it's starting to become one of those matches right now, and I am excited. Definitely both sides, though, I think need to turn down the volume a little bit, play conservative, and just grind out the rest of this point, or we're going to end up with a scrappy, exhausting one.
Barnett goes underneath for G. Donna has enjoyed some comeback wins, trying to avoid seeing Argentina come back against Hong Kong, and a timeout called on the goal line with the score 13-12.
See, now, I'm not such a fan of that timeout call. I like the timeout call in the context of the point more generally. It was getting very, very scrappy. But that is a very tricky place to start with a static disc. But let's have another look at some of the defensive bids thus far.
Noel Mayo got up on Barnett. Tough matchup for Mayo, and he delivered. And then with Argentina looking for the tie on the line, Kunkel. This is his disc the whole way.
Oh, yeah.
So we take a deep breath. The score 13-12. And these are the types of games that mean so much to the competitors. Is this going to decide the World Championship? Of course not. But this is the game that these participants will remember from this event for literally the rest of their lives. And what transpires over the next few minutes will put that into a defining context.
It certainly will. And looking at the format of the mixed division, pool play is way more vital than it is in the other divisions here at this World Championships, as you go straight from pools into bracket knockout play. Whereas obviously in the men's and the women's divisions, you have power pools in order to kind of have another route back. So placings here, very, very important and key.
Each team has 5 pool play games. This is number 3 for Hong Kong and Argentina both. Little lefty flip, easy as pie. Barnett, the clean clap catch, and it's 14-12.
Wow, making fool of me. I said it was a difficult place to score, but when you can throw a little pop like that to a wily receiver in the end zone, making it look super, super easy.
So Barnett has made the spectacular grab. This one did not require the similar drama. And now Argentina needs a 3-0 run to win. We've seen that before in this tournament and in this particular game from the Argentinian club.
Ooh, well, they've left themselves a job to do by being behind in the early stages of the game, Evan, but I'm not ruling out Argentina right now. So it'll be interesting to see, Evan, coming into this point, what style of offense Argentina chooses. They've tried both. They've tried some vertical stack and horizontal. Certainly looks to have been more successful with the horizontal positioning because everyone moving at once is working out for getting more separation. And they're going to use just that.
Hartline thought about going big, instead smartly goes small.
Using the male players in the backfield. Women playing the unders and handling. Woof! That's a good redemption blid.
Here we go. Cal lead defending, accelerating and ensuring that Argentina could not score.
Yeah, Cal Lee really using his speed.
Intended for the youngster Pugliese. Maximo couldn't get there, and now Argentina needs a defensive stop. Hong Kong 70 yards from their first victory at the 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships. Frankie slash cut up the line. She was fouled. Lauren Doyle appears to not contest the ruling.
Yeah, she made a desperate reach around attempt, but she knows she has to do everything in her power to keep the disc out of Frankie's hands. And what she's done by doing that, obviously not saying she's done it on purpose, what she has done is obviously stop the flow and the power position of Frankie, but she's going to put it deep anyway.
Near the sideline, tremendous defense from Romard. An interesting moment there. You had the foul between two American players, and the whiff-diff hand signals are not commonly used among Americans. You saw Fabian Galvan, Lauren Doyle's teammate, kind of signaling to her, hey, make the foul signal and the uncontested signal just to get in that habit. Argentina said that they want to be considered one of the most spirited teams, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah, we see another little physical battle there between Doyle and Frankie. Interesting that Frankie chose a leaf out of the early Argentinian playbook of throwing it Huck same third and it drifting this side of the field, but
Doyle taken off deep. Frankie's on her under. Romard elevates for the catch. Kunkel on the mark. Time has expired. Hong Kong needs one to win. Argentina needs three, but for the second straight attempt, the huck for Max Pugliese does not float nearly enough.
yeah, that was an absolute laser of a backhand from Hartline. Just not really giving any opportunity to run it down, even though the intended target of number 6 Pugliese had really great separation downfield. And so it's the battle of the horizontal stacks.
Kaufman looking for a reset. Frankie in the end zone. Swings it for Lung. Kaufman. This is Lee. He wants it. Good float on it, but better speed from Argentina's big man, Chris Romard.
Yeah, the downfield cut is looking very tired on the Hong Kong offensive side of things. And I think the issue is that Chung was the only one cutting deep, and so easily the help defense comes from Kyle Romard, who's just not being kept busy by his own mark.
Timeout called from Argentina. A mixed moment perhaps right there, throwing to the female player when there was a male player lurking. Well, coming up on this field in the next game, Crash from Canada, Freak Show from Singapore. Tom and Rebecca are standing by. Do you have any teleportation devices? Because I'm supposed to be on the adjacent field to cover Black Eagles from Great Britain and Stall 7 from India in about 4.5 minutes. But the business at hand here is far more important right now, Neon and Argentina.
Oh yes, this is the game to be watching, Evan. We spoke earlier, actually, we mentioned the other live stream, which is also a Pool D game for the mixed divisions, for the same pool as these two teams. And we're saying, you know, the other one, perhaps you made the joke of people might be hopping to the other stream to catch the action there. That one, I think, finished up. I'm not sure, actually, if the this score's on here. I'm not able to find it, but
15-14.
15-14, there you go. So both very tight matches.
Japan over the Philippines. We could have 15-14 as well. Argentina has work to do. Romard plays catch with Galvan. Good little two-man game and a pick. We'll stop play.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about a little, Evan, is the fatigue for the Argentinian players. They definitely have a shorter roster line than the Hong Kong Neon side. But perhaps the passion will fire them up to ensure they can take this one and get their first win on the board. Hotline available. Look at these frantic hand gestures, Evan. They're really, you know, motioning for each other to move. As I say, getting tired, not much movement upfield.
Doyle with Frankie on the mark. Even at this late stage of the game, you're still seeing some tough cutting downfield, but that throw sails wide. Can this be the moment for Hong Kong Neon? The break chances have been plenty, although this would simply be a hold. Hong Kong has 5 breaks in 13 attempts. Argentina has 4 in 13 attempts. The difference is 2. Neon needs just 1 to close it out.
Oh, and there we see. That's what Argentina need, Evan. They need plays like that, getting the disc back. That's been the story of this second half for Argentina, taking the disc off of Neon. But can they put it in now?
It was Bernardi who had the run through D. And now Doyle, about 20 yards from the end zone. Breaks the mark, but throws it to the opposition.
That was amazing by Kunkel.
Kunkel must have 8 blocks in this game. Frankie launches cross field. Is it going to stay in bounds? Yes. Kunkel on the doorstep to Cali. And Hong Kong closes out the 15-12 win over Argentina.
My, Evan, what a game that turned out to be. Credit to the Argentinian club. Coming back at the end hard, but Neon able to eke it out later stages. What a game.
Frankie's initial throw here, from our perspective, looked like it could sail wide, but perfect angle on the lid of the disc. And then Kunkel, who was an all-star in this effort for Neon. They win it 15-12. We got to wrap this up. New game coming up on this field shortly. Our wall-to-wall coverage from the World Ultimate Club Championships continues all week long. For Hannah Pendlebury and our entire crew, Evan Lepler saying so long for now. Neon 15, Argentina 12. Hong Kong takes it in the mixed division Pool D. So long, everybody.